Hi friends and fellow flute enthusiasts, thanks for tuning in to Jonny's Flute Reviews. I'm Jonny Lipford, and since 2002 I've dedicated myself to everything flute. I teach, perform, and record full-time with the Native American flute. I post videos here on YouTube covering flute tips, tutorials, original songs, and cover songs to showcase how versatile the Native American flute is. If you're new here and interested in becoming a more emotive flute player, or you just love listening to the sounds of the Native American flute, be sure you subscribe and hit that little bell so you're notified every time a new video drops. Now, let's dive into a flute from my personal collection. Welcome back. In this episode, we're looking at a flute in my collection made by Jon Norris. This is a very long flute. It's not very low though. This is one of his Birdhead style flutes, and you'll see that this one has an incredibly large and long slow air chamber. And so this flute is actually in the key of mid F sharp minor. So when we say, like, you know, the longer the flute, the lower the sound, that's not always the case. When we look at slow air chambers, they don't really have anything to do with the pitch. And then see this hole right here? So this is kind of where the flute stops. So the air comes out of the bore here, and some still travels a little bit further, but all past that point, all of this is just ornamental and doesn't really affect the flute at all. So the hole spacing is comfortable like a regular mid-range flute. The difference of this though, and I find myself having to use some tips that I use on bass flutes for this particular flute, because the finger holes are so far away from my lips or from where I'm playing. So I sometimes have a hard time like holding this flute out, so I need to keep it, you know, closer to my body, so that way I'm not putting an extra kink in my wrist and stressing that ring finger on the bottom. So because of this slow air chamber and how it pushes the flute further away from me and makes my reach a little bit greater. So the voicing of this flute is a little, you know, it's not as clean as some of the other ones. It's a little gnarly, it's a little airy sounding, maybe a little raspy, but it's got really great character. I love to take this flute, especially when I do like show and tell for elementary schools or programs such like that. People love to see and hear this flute. I think it's a lot to do with it looks like a bird on the end. So this is, I believe this one is made from mahogany. I believe that's the wood that this is made from. So here we go. I'll give you a sound sample. Little tough. All right, so a little airy, just a really unique voice to this particular flute, and a little trouble in the upper register. I kind of stumbled into that a little bit, but otherwise a really cool flute. So if you're looking for one of these, Jon Norris, he is the maker of this. It's Jon, no H, just like me. We have the same dilemma. There's no H in our name. So anyway, look him up. I'll drop a link in the description below. You'll also find a link to some of the gear that I use, as well as some other helpful videos along your flute journey. So Be sure you subscribe and hit that little bell so you're notified when new videos like this, as well as original and cover songs and tutorials hit YouTube. You'll be the first to know. So thanks so much, and stay tuned as we uncover more flutes from my collection. We'll see you next time.